Hey everybody, welcome to the Luke Show. I've got Tim and Ryan here, our soccer experts, World Cup experts. We're here. It's Sunday evening. We just watched this Cape Verde Uruguay game. Thought we'd get in some discussion about that, and then get into the USA Australia match. Just talk about the World Cup in general. So either whoever wants to take the floor here, let's just talk about what we just saw in that match.
You want me to start us off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Cape Verde is the team of the tournament so far. I think this is the team that's like capturing everybody's heart. Starting with the first game that got them on the map with the 0-0 with Spain. I think one of the heartwarming stories of the World Cup so far is this keeper of theirs, Vozinho. Before the tournament started, he had like something like I think was it single digit thousands of followers.
50K.
hmm
50K. Okay, so he had some followers, but now after the Spain match, he skyrocketed up to like 40 million plus followers on
Yeah.
Instagram. So I think he's been kind of like the star of the show so far. But so that was after the first game, and then we just watched them claw back to tie Uruguay 2-2, had some chances to win at the end. Um, they just play with so much ferocity, like even up until like the 95th minute in this game that we just watched, like they're going like full out, like busting their lungs, going through hard challenges, like really just putting it all out there. And I feel like they've kind of embodied what this expanded version of the tournament is, with 16 more teams being in the tournament this time around. People's notions was that we're going to get more just shit matches from shit teams that qualified that like wouldn't have otherwise. But I think that Cape Verde has been a good example of like the magic of the cup and like yeah, it's a bunch of players that nobody's ever heard of, but I mean like they've captured the hearts of millions across the globe, just by playing soccer. So I think it's just been like representative of how awesome the tournament has been so far. And yeah, it's just been dope to see.
What is the story with Cape Verde? Because I don't know anything about them really, and I've never heard of them like being a good soccer country. Like, how did that happen? Because they're such a small country. Like, when did that start?
I mean, it must have just started this cycle. I don't know too much about them, to be honest. This is their first World Cup, obviously, and they're the second smallest country to ever be in the cup, along with one of the other teams in the tournament this time around. Curacao also had a crazy result yesterday that we'll talk about. But I haven't looked into their African qualifying campaign, but there's a number of good teams in Africa and a number of good teams that didn't qualify. Like we talked about Nigeria before, they're not here at the cup. So. Need to look into what their qualifying campaign was, but this is the first time that I've ever heard of them on the map soccer wise. So
No, it's been awesome. Ryan, what were your thoughts about that match?
Tim, I think, brought up two really cool things in that whole thing. Number one, the physicality. I was really impressed with their physicality and how they were able to match Uruguay's intensity in that match. That was really, really fun to watch um, due to the intensity. And I think the other thing that Tim said, and I thought this was really smart, um, the overall intensity and just awesomeness of this World Cup and the level of play we've had so far in this tournament. Just as Tim said, a lot of people said, "Oh, this is going to be a kind of a shite World Cup," just and a lot of blowouts and squash matches. But I've seen very, very few stinkers. Almost all of the games have been fun, if not really, really fun and awesome to watch.
Yeah, I can't think off the top of my head of like, I guess Germany over Curacao might be the only one, but like,
Mexico, South Korea was a bit of a stinker, but
mm,
like still is Mexico at home and their fans were going crazy. So
and then like literally the only other game that comes to mind that was a stinker was the one earlier today, this Belgium versus Iran game. And that could be like recency bias, but also on top of that, like Belgium is a team that's been a staple at the World Cup. So if you're going to complain about bad matches, like it's still happening with teams that are going to be there regardless. So it's
mhm.
a poor excuse after what we've seen.
I enjoyed that game. I'm a big Iran supporter though, so like I thought that was fun.
Well, so towards the
Yeah.
end of the match, once it started to look like Iran could actually get points, then I was
Mm.
supporting them super hard
Yeah.
too. That's like been kind of one of the things that's been cool to see in this tournament too. We're going to probably jump around a good bit in this episode, just kind of talking about our general thoughts. But one of the things, for example, like I was getting emotional during Iran's national anthem during the first game. Just like thinking about all the adversity that these players and this national team, this whole country has been through. It was also interesting because like Iranian nationals were booing the anthem in the stadium too. So it was just like as layered as it can get in terms of just like sport and what goes beyond the sport and just like at like a human capacity, just recognizing all the shit that they had to go through to get to that moment and then finally like the football could kick in, like that was awesome to see.
Yeah, for sure. It is always crazy. People will be like, don't politicize sports and things like that. When you literally have a team in Iran who is like in a war and like is being like held back in this actual sport, like not allowed to travel like into the country. It is insane, like the whole story that's going on there.
Hmm. Hmm. And
So
not to,
you, oh, go ahead,
just
sorry.
real quick, one last point about Iran. Now that it's looking like there's a good chance that they're going to qualify for the knockout rounds, it's been one thing because we talked about how they're not allowed to stay in the U.S. between their matches, so they're staying in Tijuana, having to fly back to Mexico in between each match. What if then, and all their games have been on the West Coast, so what if they get to the knockout rounds and now they have to start traveling into the Midwest or maybe even to the East? Like, then that travel becomes like really burdensome. So
Yeah.
that's when it's going to start becoming super unfair, which is just terrible.
Is every knockout round in the US?
No, not everyone. Yeah, so
Okay.
that's a good point. Like they could actually go to Mexico or Canada, but I think that that's like kind of more so for the teams that already been playing matches there. So
Hmm.
I need to look into it, but my assumption is that that would probably be in the U.S. still.
Yeah, I would say so. Well, speaking of US, let's talk about the USA 2-0, 2-0 win over Australia. Get into it, guys. I'm just here to, keep things moving. You guys are the experts. So just give me the goods on it.
Ryan, what do you think of the match?
I I feel like I have a, little bit less positive opinion than a lot of people. Um, Australia was really just trying to muck it up against us. Um, and I feel like we didn't look great creatively. Defended well, responded to physicality well, but didn't look great offensively. Um, I don't know. I'm also interested in y'all's thoughts. What did y'all think?
Yeah, I mean, definitely not as strong of a performance against Paraguay. I think that we've played like three pretty good halves, two very good halves against Paraguay, and then the first half against Australia I thought was like decent. I thought you brought up the main point that I did think that we matched them physicality wise, which I think was going to be the key in this game. There was like a lot of beef back and forth before the game from both sides, so I think that like both sides entered the match with the necessary levels of intensity, especially the US, who is like the more technical, the better quality side, being able to match Australia's medal because I think like you said, they wanted to muck it up. Um, I also don't think that we played that well. I mean, especially once again compared to the Paraguay match, but I think it was just one of those dubs where we were able to play a different style than we did the first match. It was also an interesting lineup change with since Pooley was out for this match. I think we were all expecting to bring in another central mid of sorts and rotate the midfield. But instead, Poach brought on Pepe, which was an interesting mix-up because we really haven't seen the two strikers up top together at all under him, especially Pepe and Balogun together. So I think given that we we didn't have Pulisic, we did have a bit of a tactical change that I don't think that we probably prepared for a ton. I mean, this week I'm sure that the team probably worked on it, given that they probably expected Pulisic to be out as they were gearing up for the match. He didn't train with the team all week. So I mean, in general, yeah, I don't think that we looked very good. I agree, but I do think it was a comfortable win in the end. I think we only held them. We held them to five shots, two on target,
Yeah, I
0.35
mean,
xG throughout the
they
course of the
really had
game.
nothing for us.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, it could have looked better for sure, but I think that it was good enough. And like I said, I think that it's good to demonstrate that you can win in more than one way. And at the end of the day, it's a good.
Oh no, did Tim freeze?
Oh no.
I think he was gonna say good start.
Oh no. Frozen Tim.
No,
Frozen
Tim.
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 No, Tim.
Oh, this is all right.
This is
Well,
bad. This is
I
so
Yeah.
bad.
is he back?
Hello?
I thought I heard him. Damn. Oh, there he
Wait,
is.
wait.
Tim, are
There
you
he
here?
is.
Oh shit. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you froze.
Oh no.
It's okay.
What was the last thing I said?
You're about to say, I think like at the end of the day, it was a good start, and then you froze.
Oh shit. All right. Well, you're gonna have to do a little bit of editing work on this
Yeah,
one.
that's fine. Just
I,
yeah.
I feel like
Um,
there's like two overarching like ideas. And Pooley being out, he's one of the like X factor players, and we really need him to play for our offense to be like at 100%. And number two, that Paraguay match was probably the best I've ever seen them play my entire life. So might be a little bit, I don't know what exactly the word for it would be, but like hangover from that too.
Yeah, especially because how good Paraguay looked against Turkey, like later that night. Like
Yeah, it's not
I
like Paraguay is like a joke side, like they're a solid South American side.
yeah, I think like I mean this it could not have gone better. I think for the USA, like they might not have looked as good against Australia, but two wins, they've already won the group. Like
Yeah.
just like the dream start that like anyone could have hoped for.
yeah, the first time that we've won the first two matches at the World Cup since like 1930. So I mean,
Mhm.
like we're off to as good of a start as possible, like you said. Now,
Mhm.
especially after that Paraguay defeat against Turkey today, we can also rotate our squad for this next match. Like I personally would be happy to see like every single starter rotated, except for maybe the keeper. This is where I wish Noah was here for this conversation
Oh, the keeper corner.
as our resident goalkeeper.
Well, I was his backup, so I can speak to it.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts? Do you agree with me that you think that we should rotate the entire team except for Matt Freeze, the goalkeeper? Because in my opinion, he didn't face too much action in the first two games. So you can either bring him in, hopefully have him get a little bit more work against Turkey, or I guess the counter to that is like, what if we do shit the bed against Turkey and he concedes five? Then does his confidence get drained? What do you think?
Yeah, I kind of like your saying because I guess he lacks experience like in matches because I don't know building up to this how much was he like the starter throughout qualifying and everything?
More or less, but you make a great
Okay.
point. He doesn't have World Cup experience, so.
I think it's I mean he's looked good the first two games so I don't like Turkey hasn't scored a goal yet, have they?
Mm-mm.
I think it's I would like to just let him stay out there, just get, trial by fire, that type of thing. Just let it run. Like I think he's been good. I don't think we got to worry about 5 goals from Turkey, knock on wood. But yeah, I like that thought to just let him stay out there. But is that what the strategy is going to be? Is just to rest the starters and just like kind of go at it like that? Because the game doesn't really matter.
I would think so. I don't know. Ryan, what do you think?
I mean, I don't mind that. I honestly haven't even really thought too much about the Turkey game. I'm already thinking about the knockout rounds, which is dumb on my part, but
We've
that's
already
how you
locked in
get.
the
Yeah,
top
we're
seed.
there.
So, I
Yeah.
Yeah.
mean, yeah, no, that's like now
But
we're looking ahead.
but yeah, probably Turkey A game. Probably yeah, rotate everybody. Fuck it. Let's give some other people some run. Let's see what they can do. Um, yeah. We'll
Get some of
need
their get some of their confidence up so that
yeah,
whenever we do need to call upon them in the later
yeah.
rounds, they're ready to go. Their
Maybe
confidence
maybe
is
Gio
high.
Reyna can start a match, see what he can do.
I'd like to see them just come out and just keep the same like energy because I think that's been the biggest thing for like I'm not the USA knowledgeable fan like you guys are, but like their tenacity and their energy has like kind of jumped out at you, and like they are kind of like we talked about throughout basketball, like the motherfucker in them. Like it feels like the team has that vibe. I'd like them to just come out against Turkey and just like try to just put it on them like from the jump, just like these guys they're done, like they don't care anymore. Like let's just send them home with like another loss.
I
Yeah,
agree completely. Yeah.
totally.
Fucking, there's nothing that frustrates me more than a team or a coach who is willing to sit back and Poach seems like he has these dudes like pedal to the metal constantly,
I fuck with
which
Poach a lot. He's awesome.
like I have to reckon with the fact that he's a Spurs coach, but
Mhm.
we'll deal with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he seems to have done really, really well and gotten that level of intensity back in this team that we seem to have, that we've been missing for a decade, feels like.
I think that I think that the players really have like banded with him. And like there was also that moment like right before the World Cup, probably like a weekish or so before, where there were like the rumors that that Poach had met with AC Milan for contract negotiations for after the World Cup. And there wasn't even like a peep out of the US camp. Like I think the one and only quote that I saw about it was from Tyler Adams. You know, it was like, yeah, I mean, like we're aware that it's happening. We know who this guy is. It's not impacting us and what's happening here internally. You know, it's like
Mm.
we're bought in. Like he's here right now with us. Like so, I agree. I mean, I've been super impressed with him from a lot of different angles.
What let's we should talk about like what their path now, because I mean they've won the group. Who are they like most likely to play in the knockout round?
So it's right now. So given that this year there's eight third place teams are going to
Mhm.
qualify for the knockout rounds, it's a lot more difficult to predict what's going to, shake out. But with that being said, now winning the group has that much more. Is that much more beneficial to every team because they're going to be matched up with a third place team from another
Yeah.
group. So right now, what's going on is that we're waiting to see if there's going to be a winner between the Bosnia and Herzegovina versus Qatar matchup. If either of those two teams win, then we would play the winner of that game.
Okay.
Um, I would consider us strong favorites against either of those two.
Probably be
Um,
Bosnia, right?
Probably, I
Yeah.
would say, yeah, Qatar just got dumped on by
Mhm.
Canada 6-0 in their
Yeah.
last game, so their conference is probably shot at the moment. Um, and then if neither of those two teams win, so if that finishes in a tie, then it would most likely result in either Ecuador or Curacao or Norway and Senegal or Algeria and Jordan. So out of all of that, the one we definitely wanted to avoid is the Norway Senegal. Whoever finishes
Gonna
third in that
say,
group.
Yeah.
don't want
That
anything to do with that. Do not
was
want that Holland smoke.
yeah, that's a disastrous draw if we do end
Mm.
up getting either of those. We did just play Senegal in the friendly before, but that doesn't matter. That is nothing
Mm.
compared to an actual knockout round game. So um and then we'll have to see what shakes out from there. Now, there have been like projections about how like even getting the semifinal could work out for us, but that's getting too far ahead of ourselves. Like we're grateful that we have a knockout game already, like for sure, but
Mm.
I wouldn't get too comfortable.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, it sounds like like I was saying, like the dream type scenario for us so far. Like, so everyone who wins their group, they're playing a third place team. That's how it works out.
Hmm.
Okay, so eight third place teams. All right, cool. Who would you guys like of
Or
like?
sorry, I guess the eight highest winners from each group, and then the four others would play the four highest second place teams, I believe.
Yeah. Gotcha. Who would you all prefer? Like, I guess it's hard to. I guess it's tough because there's still some teams haven't even played their second match yet. So maybe we don't have to.
Out of those two teams, I would prefer to play Qatar. Like we said, Bosnia looks like they would be some motherfuckers to play against. So,
Yeah, they're tough.
Yeah, Jekko would dunk on Tim Ream.
hmm.
So far the first two USA matches, like what has you guys like it's been a strong showing, but worries you still? Like is it the same stuff before the World Cup that you thought about or anything new pop up?
I would say the biggest thing um, is consistency of creativity and us being able to consistently manufacture chances against, real solid defenses and midfields. And the other thing is Tim Ream getting caught with pace by a really, really fast, quick attacker. We haven't played anyone. Aaron Kunda for Australia would probably be the closest thing to that. And I don't know why Australia didn't start him, honestly.
That
When
was strange. I don't
he
understand that.
Yeah.
yeah, he was fantastic in the first game against
Mhm.
Turkey. Um, but he came on in the second half and gave them at least something. And I really still think that pace, especially running in behind, um, is going to give us give us some issues.
Tim, you got anything you want to add?
Yeah, all those are great points. I agree with all that. And I think at the end of the day, we just really haven't played a quality opponent, honestly, yet. I mean, Paraguay and Australia, they're both like fine. They're both World Cup teams, but they're no powerhouse. So Turkey is going to be a little bit of a step in the right direction in terms of like playing more of like a European-based style of play. But I mean, they have nothing to play for, so we have no idea what they're going to show up with. They couldn't, it's very likely that they could not care less about it.
Mm.
There's been insane backlash from their fans at home, so God knows what they're thinking right now,
Oh, I'm sure.
So,
Turkey
but
Turkey has an insane culture around soccer and just
yeah,
like online
there
abuse.
for anybody who hasn't seen it, check out the Turkey is sending off their national team. There was just like this massive caravan of like thousands of cars, and it was just like a very cool scene. But
Damn.
yeah, at the end of the day, we haven't really played anybody that good. So I mean, we can get excited, but job's not even close to done. So I hopefully Turkey at least plays Arda Güler and Kenan Yildiz and Hakan Çalhanoğlu so that we can see how our defense stacks up against world-class players because we're obviously going to see them down the line. So
Damn, that was a hell
need
of a
to prepare.
pronunciation from you right there. Like three in a row. That was awesome. Good job. Speaking of Turkey, I've always thought it was Turkey. Is it Turkey? Like, has that been the name?
I think this is a recent thing that they
Okay.
now prefer to go
We
by.
can we can cut this if this is like xenophobic or something like that, you know.
No,
I'm
I
just
didn't. I
some
didn't.
dumb American who doesn't know how to pronounce things.
No, no, no.
Okay. Well, I would say they've been probably the most disappointing team of the group stage. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Great.
it's hard to say much else. Like
Yeah.
they have nothing. Like all they do is possess outside the box and shoot from 30 yards out. And like that's just really, really poor and that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and an interesting stat I saw earlier today that three of the top five players with the most shots at the World Cup so far, or three of them are the three guys who I just named with like 12 shots, 11 shots, and 10 shots, and zero goals for the entire team. So
Damn.
it's just been disappointing for them. But another team also to shout out has been extremely disappointing has been Ecuador. They've had two lackluster results. Yesterday, that match against Curacao, the Curacao keeper, he, I think, tied Tim Howard's record of 15 saves in a World Cup match. So phenomenal performance from them. But Ecuador just does not have the attacking potency to be the dark horse everybody thought that they would be. Kind of similar to Turkey, both like solid teams, but just can't find the back of the net.
Yeah, I feel like that might be the most disappointing result of the whole tournament so far because Curacao just came off what a 7-1 loss to Germany. And then they draw,
Exactly.
yeah. And Ecuador, I had like high expectations for them. I think a lot of people did. Like, yeah. So I didn't see that game, so I don't know what went wrong there. But
No, but especially coming off because Ecuador had that very disappointing last minute loss against Ivory Coast that was tied the entire
yes,
match, and then like the last kick of the match they lost. So I thought that they would bring that vigor for the next game, but no, that you could see they looked so disappointed at the end of that game.
I will say with Ecuador, I feel like that is the sort of team that could look shitty in a group stage setting and then rattle off one, two, three knockout round game wins just because of how they play and how defensively sound they are and the quality of their defenders.
Yeah, I agree. Like with once again with this cup with these third place teams sneaking in, could very easily see an Ecuador sneaking in and winning two knockout stage matches, 0-0, maybe going to
mm,
pens. Who
Win
knows?
on pens or
Yeah.
fucking sneak an extra time header on a set piece, like
Mhm.
just gritty,
well,
gritty football.
they would have to beat Germany, right, though, to get advanced, right? Because they have 1 point right now.
Yep.
Damn,
Yep. Did Germany win their group already? I think they have. So who
I
knows?
think so.
They could
So they
rotate.
Oh,
might be
true.
resting players
It could
who
be,
Okay.
but I mean, Germany, like somebody else who we're going to mention, is right now, I guess, in the lead for Golden Boot is the backup striker for Germany, Denis Undav. So it's like yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's like these teams at the top, the depth that they have is just crazy.
He's the guy they brought him on as a sub last game, right? And he had two
Hmm.
goals. Yeah.
Yeah.
apparently there's some controversy about uh, their coach leaving him out of the starting 11.
Oh, what
Really?
is it?
Basically, just that people want him to start.
Oh, okay. I
That's it.
did.
That's
Oh,
it.
over Kai Havertz.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or move Kai Havertz out onto the right and have Undav
Oh,
up
and take
top.
Sane out. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I've
And
had for some reason I've had German soccer fans popping up on my Reddit like streams, and so I'm translating them. And that's
mhm.
like the one thing that they keep talking about is how shite Sane is and how he needs to get out of there. So
It's so I have my friend Lisa. She's German and
Shout out
fantastic
Lisa
player.
if you're listening out
Yeah.
there.
Shout out
shout out
Lisa.
Lisa.
She's a fantastic player and coach. Um, but I was texting her about the German national team, and the first thing she says is, "Oh my God, Carl's out. We have to play fucking Sane out on the right." And I started laughing. Um, yeah, but apparently, Nagelsmann, I always forget how to pronounce his name. Apparently, there is he has some weird issue with Undav. He was even saying in the press the other day about how like Undav wouldn't have scored if he would have started the game because, since he came on when, people were already tired and, that was his like big advantage. Um, but yeah, so just something to watch for in the future and in that game especially.
Yeah, Nagelsmann seems like a very strong personality, so it doesn't surprise me. There's some shit
Or
like that.
what did you say about him? You said he loves like coffee snob or something.
Oh yeah, he's definitely a Donner snob for
Yeah,
sure.
What does
yeah.
that mean? What are you talking about?
He just looks he looks like a crypto guy.
Oh, okay.
Don-
Just
Donners,
imagine that.
All right.
Donners are like the popular like kebab stands in Europe, and
Okay.
Yeah.
especially like in Germany. Like Luke, have you heard the player like Lucas Podolski?
No.
He was like this famous German soccer player whenever we were growing up, and
Uh.
like now his like post career, he started this like kebab chain of these donor places, and that's like now he's making like millions off them. It's a hilarious story.
That's awesome. Lucas Podolsky is his name?
Yeah, Lucas
All
Podolski.
right, I'll
He
look it up.
actually is just like a funny character in general.
Okay.
Got a rocket left foot.
Rocket left foot. Oh my
Hell
fucking
yeah.
God.
Nice. Wait, so the German coach is who you're saying is the crypto looking guy?
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
saw him when we played him in that friendly, and I thought he looked insane. Like he was wearing like some crazy hat or something.
He's just he's a wild cat.
Yeah, like he did not look like he was coaching a soccer club.
No, he's so funny. He does
He's
not
young
look
as
like,
hell too.
yeah,
Like
he's
he
Yeah,
looks like
super
he can
young.
play.
that's hilarious.
Hmm
Any other matches you guys want to talk about? I'm sure there is from the what we've seen so far.
I wrote down some of just like the noteworthy results, or just like games in general. Netherlands, Japan 2-2 was really good. The second half of that was probably the most
Mhm.
entertaining half that we've seen so
Yeah, that
far.
was an amazing game.
That was awesome. Brazil, Morocco was kind of like the first battle of heavyweights in the tournament. That finished 1-1. Brazil looked kind of shaky, but they turned it around their second match against Haiti. Um, Morocco also they won their second game against Scotland too. So both of them, had that draw to start, but then carried on for wins in their second
Mhm.
matches. Portugal and Congo, that was another one of the big surprises so far.
Mhm.
Portugal, I think, was kind of considered maybe in that tier below the best tier of teams going into the tournament. So one of the big debates that we had was this Ronaldo problem and Roberto Martinez. He is the guy who coached Belgium through their golden generation, and he was
Goal. Absolute
kind of, yeah.
goal.
So he's kind of regarded as just like totally wasting that opportunity with them.
Mhm.
And then Portugal hired him as their coach, and now people are afraid that because Portugal has an insane attack right now, like four or five of some of the best in the world. And the main thing that we talked about was how is Roberto Martinez going to handle the Ronaldo situation. And lo and behold, he played the whole game and he sucked
And
and
he was shite.
he
Yeah.
was shite and they drew against Congo. Shout out Congo.
Congo
Here's
is that's my team right
Yeah,
now.
the
no, they're awesome. Johan
Mhm.
Wissa
Mhm.
Nation, that dude is fucking awesome. I love him.
I
Um,
couldn't handle the memes of Freddie
oh, the
Gibbs.
Freddie Gibbs doppelganger.
Oh
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
yeah, that shit's awesome.
Oh
That
yeah.
shit's
But
awesome.
oh my goodness. To like speak a little bit more about the Portugal thing and the CR7, the Cristiano problem. Um, João Neves came out and said, I can't remember the quote exactly, but it was basically just, we're a team, we're all part of a team, and we're all working towards one goal, and Cristiano is a part of that. And even just saying that, like very milquetoast statement, um, he has CR7 fanboys like spamming his Instagram, like the entire thing, being like, "You're a loser, Cristiano. You're nothing compared to Cristiano," and like, it's so insane. I was saying this to my friend earlier. The minds of Ronaldo fanboys should be studied. They it it's so strange. It's so strange.
And just to piggyback on that, they're also attacking João Neves' girlfriend, and she even like came back at one of them on Instagram. Like one of these fanboys, he commented like, "Tell your boyfriend to like, I forget what the phrase was exactly, but like, tell your boyfriend to like get in line and like support like my king or something like that." And João Neves' girlfriend, who now mind you, João Neves is like 21 years old,
Yeah.
22 years old
Yeah.
max, like a child. And his girlfriend responds to this fan, and she's like, "Tell your king to like retire. He's fucking selfish."
That's awesome.
I did not see that. That's so fun. I mean, honestly, like fair play. How annoying. Could you
Yeah, fuck
imagine
that,
that?
dude. Oh my
And you're
God.
like 21 years old and you have like
He's double his
14
age, you know?
you have 14-year-olds in like Saudi Arabia messaging you saying you're fucking terrible.
Yeah, right. After like back-to-back Champions League wins, like,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
after being like
yeah,
one of the best young midfielders in the world.
yeah. So they got to figure that out. I think that's
Mhm.
one of the more interesting things moving forward is how Roberto Martinez handles that situation. Like it's so clear that this man cannot be starting. So we'll see if he has the guts.
Especially considering how Messi played, like having the hat trick. Like I bet just Ronaldo,
Hmm.
like,
He's
yeah,
Yeah.
fuming. He's
yeah.
Oh,
absolutely
100%.
fuming.
Mm.
Yep. And I'm glad that you mentioned the Messi hat trick because those were just some of the other notable games I want to point out. Is like
Mm.
the stars have fucking shown up, man. Like Messi with the hat trick and his 3-0 win. Earl Holland had two right in the Norway win. So
Yeah,
yep, he showed up. Mbappe with a brace as well in their first game. So Harry Kane as well with 2 goals. So like the star-studded performers have really shown up so far and have treated fans. Like there's been a lot of goals and it's been awesome.
Just
yeah,
to say one thing on that Messi performance, like he just keeps reminding us how lucky we are to watch him play. It's so crazy, man. I really don't think we will ever see anyone like him ever again. It's remarkable. It's unbelievable.
Ryan and I were texting during that match, and one thing that we were discussing is like, is he gonna like up his level even more than what we saw? Because now the monkey is off his back, you know. I mean, like, he captured glory last time, so now
That's
like obviously like they want to repeat, but I mean like this guy, even like after like if you see an image of him scoring his first goal in Qatar 2022 versus the first goal that he scored against Algeria, like just pure bliss and joy on his face this time around, as opposed to just like straight back to business last time
mm,
around. Like the pressure's off, and so we might just see just unreal levels of this guy. And I think that he is tied with Miroslav Klose right now for most World Cup goals ever. So he's clearly going to break that throughout this tournament. So yeah, like Ryan said, like it's just such a joy to be able to witness greatness in real time and just like know that he's just magic and it's going to be magic every time that Argentina plays.
yeah.
that's something. Go ahead, Luke.
No,
Sorry.
no, you're good. You're good.
Nah, I forgot what I was gonna say now. You go
Okay.
ahead.
Honestly, I kind of did too, so I was hoping you would just take it.
Oh, damn
But
it.
no, it is just like, how old is Messi? He's 38, 39. Is he that old?
I think he's turning 39 like next week or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just insane. It's kind of like, I don't know, I guess LeBron would be a good comp. Like, just still doesn't really show like any signs of aging. Like, I think, but Messi's like winning World Cups, like it's just insane.
Yeah, and it's so cool because like we can just keep saying that like his game is conducive to being at this age. Like even whenever the guy was in his prime, like he still ran less than everybody else on the field because he picks his spots so well,
He
you
was
know.
he was just literally standing at times like this last game, like not moving on. It's like he just
Yeah,
conserving all the energy just for like
exactly.
bouts of extreme athleticism. It's
Right.
awesome.
And what's so cool is that like all of his teammates are just like, "Oh my God, dude, like
Yeah.
he's the GOAT." And he's just standing there, you know.
Yeah. And he's like 5'5", like he's so small. It's insane.
Yep, yep.
Isn't there a picture he touched the Lamal guy for
He
Spain?
held he
Yeah, when he
held
was a baby. Yeah.
come on, man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like are you fucking kidding me? He's just different, man.
Yeah.
Some sort of voodoo
Yeah.
for
Just
sure.
whatever he touches just turns. I mean, then Lamal got his first goal today, like instantly in the World Cup when they started. Like it's
Yep.
insane.
Hmm.
We're about to run out of time. Let's take a break. We'll come back and talk about, more stuff. Just kits, presentation. We haven't talked
Hell
about
yeah.
like England or France.
Alexi Lawless talk
Yeah.
incoming.
Okay.
Yeah, here we go.
All right. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Tim was just about to say something his favorite thing, but he wanted to save it for the pod. So Tim, what were you about to say?
Not necessarily my favorite thing, but one of the coolest things I think so far has been whenever you're watching these matches and whether it's like a Curacao or a Cape Verde, like even like earlier today, Iran, as we mentioned, like whenever it's an underdog and it's getting to like the last little bit of the game, if it's still a draw, or especially like a 0-0, it's just like you're sitting there like clenched butt cheeks, watching along, make like really hoping that they don't concede. Like that's been one of the more exciting parts with watching, I think, in general, because like there's been, as we said, a lot of surprises, especially with these smaller teams. Like mostly, I don't think there hasn't been like a ton of like upset wins, but just so
Mhm.
many upset draws. So it's just like the ends of the games, even if like throughout the course of these draws has not been awesome, the last 10
Mhm.
minutes is always so good.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
like the Go ahead,
and
Ryan.
and for all you gamblers out there,
Mhm.
betting on draws is absolutely fucking electric.
Yeah, honestly, like I was just saying, like the Cape Verde game, had a bet on a draw. It was like a $3 bet. I'm gonna win like $15, but I was sitting there just like sweating. I can't even
Yeah.
imagine if I was a Cape Verdean person, like
Yeah,
insane.
like one of the things with like the bets so far that I've noticed that I've like really been trying to avoid is like betting against these like major underdogs. So for example, yesterday I had Uruguay, no, I'm sorry, Ecuador as part of a parlay where I needed them to beat Curacao. But by the
Mhm.
end of the game, I'm like, dude, I want Curacao to pull this out, you know? So it's just
Yeah.
like but it's not fun to be betting against the major.
No, you never want it. Marsh
Yeah.
gave us a bet the other day. It was he said Brazil money line, like it's a free bet, and I was like, they have to be huge odds, like favorite. I looked, they were minus 900. I'm like,
Yeah,
dude,
like
you
sick,
would,
dude. They're playing
yeah,
Haiti.
yeah, like
Yeah.
there's no value in this. He said like
Awesome.
bet 500, you can win $50. I'm like, I'm not gonna bet 500 fucking dollars on Brazil. Like, get out of here. But yeah, we haven't talked about England. I feel like that England Croatia match was a big match. So your guys' thoughts there?
Yeah, that was an interesting one as well.
Mhm.
I mean, I think one of the biggest things with England in general for the last couple World Cup cycles is they've just always been a bore to watch, like especially under Southgate.
There you go.
Um,
You nailed
it's
those
it,
Turkish pronunciations there.
yeah, and then just
Yeah,
some
how you got
Yeah. So
Kalinoglu, but Southgate
Southgate.
is like baffling.
Damn
Southgate
it.
stumped you.
Damn
So
it, man. But yeah, that guy sucks. So it was cool to see
all right, welcome.
it was cool to see them put up 4 goals. Like we said, Harry Kane looked good. I think the well-being of that team is squarely upon how good that guy plays. So I think they got off to a good start. Croatia's a great team. They've made it to semifinals of the last 2 tournaments, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, that was a good result for England for sure.
Two biggest things with England. Can their defense hold up? Gave up some goals in that Croatia game.
Sick goals, we should mention. But yeah,
To be fair, stick
both
goals,
both
but
the Croatia
still,
goals were awesome, but 100%.
still gave up some goals. Number two, the hockey shift line change that they can bring on with their forwards is it's absolute cheat codes. Like bringing on Rashford, Saka, and I believe Spence
And Morgan,
What's
yeah,
the
Morgan
other
Rogers
player?
too.
Yeah, yeah. Bringing on all those guys at the same time when defenders are getting a little leggy in the second half, like that's cheat codes, man.
I was just looking up here, like, there's been like speaking of England's roster, didn't they leave off like some notable guys that were on like the last World Cup team? I can't like, was it Phil Foden and
Slab head
Bellingham?
left off big slab.
Yeah, but yeah, that was one of the big talking points before the
Mm.
tournament was Tuchel's roster selection, especially leaving off Phil Foden, Cole Palmer,
Mm.
a number of guys who usually play in that like attacking mid role.
Mm.
But Tuchel, he like emphasized the point that I'm trying to bring the best collective. So like it doesn't do me any good if I'm trying to spring on three attacking mids all at the same time on the field whenever they all play the same position. So like Madueke, for example, is somebody who probably wouldn't have been brought in under the last manager, Southgate, and now he's starting over Saka, because my guess would be kind of going back to what we were talking about Harry Kane, like the team needs to be centralized around him. I think that Tuchel's philosophy was that Madueke is somebody who is more likely to produce for Harry Kane, as opposed to Saka, who I think is probably going to be a little bit more selfish and look for goals himself.
Also, with just in general with how Harry Kane plays and dropping into uh, those deeper positions, and you need wingers that are going to run in behind. And Saka's so much of a like kind of sit in either on the wing or in that pocket in between the center back and the left back and like, yo, pass me the ball and then I'll do something from there rather
Mhm.
than like actually trying to run in behind.
hmm
Mm.
hmm
Um, France, Senegal, 3-1. I've heard,
Also, also a good one.
yeah, I've been hearing like I don't know enough about this, but a lot of like Mbappe like hate, I guess, like saying he doesn't make his teammates better. Is this something you guys are agreeing with? Is this a narrative you're
Tim,
familiar with?
Tim, do you want to start?
Yeah, so definitely a narrative that we're familiar with.
Okay.
So like in the in the Real Madrid like Reddit thread, there's constant memes of like General Mbappe. So there's like there's
I've
one that I have saved that I use all the time, and it's
yes, I've
basically
seen it.
like yeah, it's him edited into like Mao Zedong. And
Yeah.
so they call him the dictator.
Hmm.
And so essentially, and it kind of this reputation has followed him a little bit from PSG, where he kind of like ran the show. And so that's why like Luis Enrique, who's this phenomenal coach for PSG, he couldn't make it work with Mbappe. And then once Mbappe left, they went and won two Champions Leagues. So there is like some evidence as soon as he came into the Real Madrid squad for this past season, Real Madrid was just absolute shite, total locker room collapse. Like brought in this manager, Xabi Alonso is supposed to be like their next guy for the long term, and he couldn't manage the locker room. And people say, or Real Madrid fans say that dictator Mbappe is, central to all of this mess.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this narrative definitely exists around Mbappe that he is selfish. He doesn't necessarily work for the team. It's his way or no way. So like, yeah, that's been his problem club wise. But then it usually he kind of like reverts back to not being that with the French national team. I don't know, Ryan. What do you think?
So, Luke, listen to
Mhm.
this.
Okay.
They did analysis of the defensive work
Mm.
of every single player in like the top 12 soccer leagues in the world. There was one player out of like over 1,000 that did less defensive work than Mbappe. Like he is generationally bad at defending and just not giving a fuck on the defensive end. Now his teammates on the French side have already come out and talked about it and reportedly had discussions with him about his defensive work rate. And as Tim said, how who he is for the French national team is somewhat different than who he is for club teams, as are a lot of French national team players over the years. Paul Pogba struggled for a lot of his club sides throughout his career. he would always, always, always turn up for the French national team and be, one of the best players in the world.
2018 Paul Pogba World Cup is like maybe my one of my favorite versions of a soccer player ever.
Yeah, just absolutely unbelievable. So, France, I think I talked about this in our preview pod, but it's France that always the question is never the talent level or the ability level. The question is always can they get it together tactically and can they get it together um, spiritually
Mm.
and work as a cohesive unit.
Yeah, so what in that match? I mean, they got the 3-1 win over Senegal. What did you guys see in that? Any issues from Mbappe? I mean, he had the brace, so
I think that so there was like an interesting moment with the commentary, which could be a good segue to talk about
Mhm.
that. So during the game, so Ian Dark and Landon Donovan were the commentary duo on that team, and Landon Donovan during the first half, he was basically saying that France was playing arrogantly because they're the better side, but they weren't like attacking vociferously right to start off the game. I think they were kind of easing their way into it, recognizing that Senegal is a strong opponent. I mean, I think they were like before the tournament, they were ranked what like 16th in the world or something like that. So like top
Champions of
quality
Africa, I don't care. They're the
champions of
champions.
Africa, 100%. So I think they were kind of feeling their way through it, and then I think in the second half they were able to unlock Senegal, namely because of the superstars that they have, like Michael Olise, the guy who I touted as potential like player of the tournament before it all started. His assist to Mbappe for the one-time finish that he had was just like a peach of a ball. So I think that that play in itself can demonstrate how quickly it was one of those like almost like a standstill moment. And then Elise, one of the few players who can pick out a pass like that and then have the technique to carry through with it. I think that kind of demonstrates how potent they can be in just a split second. So yeah, I was impressed with them in the second half of that game for sure.
I can't lie, did not see very much of that match outside of the highlights. So I am not the best person to talk about this match, but I would love to get into the Alexi Lawless
Oh yes,
Zlatan
so yeah,
beef
let's
yeah, yeah.
get
So
into
if
it.
sorry
we can.
to finish that segue. Back in the studio during halftime of that game, um, Thierry Henry. So the four-team panel that's been mostly with us is Rebecca Lowe as the host, Thierry Henry, one of the greatest French players of all time, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, best Swedish player of all time, one of the best goal scorers ever, and then Alexi Lawless. And so. Thierry Henry, he made the comment basically in rebuttal to what Landon Donovan was saying in the first half, um, saying that basically saying that it's not arrogance, it's like a good team just trying to feel out the game. And then Alexi made a comment to basically back up Landon. And then Zlatan attacks both Landon and Alexi Lawless and it's basically like, no, it's not arrogance. It's called confidence. Anybody who knows Zlatan is like the most arrogant person
Yeah,
ever,
yeah, yeah.
but in like a great way. But so that was just like an on-air snippet of like the beef that we've been seeing kind of brewing with this panel. And so yeah, that was just like kind of a moment of like, oh shit, it's like, this
It
is some
just seems like they
serious.
all legitimately hate Alexi Lawless, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's so
So
funny.
Alexi Lalas has been like the fucking face of US soccer for probably the last what, 12 years, like the last ever since because when we were growing up, ESPN had the rights to the World Cup. And then at least the last two cycles it went over to Fox. And
Mm.
so Alexi Lalas ever since the beginning of that has become the face of US soccer.
So
And
dumb.
he's just like I feel like he is like what producers think is like this like funny, charismatic, like has a lot of character to him, is gonna be like the most boisterous person who walks into any room. And he is, but it's just like in every negative sense of it. Like he's lame, he's cringe, he just
He's a stupid blowhard, man. He's just so annoying. That's
yeah,
that's really what it is. Like
and like the way that he carries himself is just like it's unpleasant and it's just like so funny because like it's so clear that TT and Zlatan just have no respect for him at all. Like
Yeah.
they never even look at him. during one of the pre-matches today, Alexi made a joke that TT laughed at, and Alexi was like, "Oh, look at that! I finally made him laugh." Woo!
See, doing shit like that, no one's gonna like you. Like it,
No
like
one's gonna like you.
yeah,
Absolutely.
it's so
They're
annoying.
actually regarding Lawless. I was reading this Guardian article,
Mm.
British outlet, and they were just absolutely shitting on him. And so, talking about like the lack of pedigree that he has compared to the other two. So
Mm.
the Guardian article is talking about Thierry Henry specifically. Um, so basically talking about like who Henri is compared to Lawless. So talking about Henri in a conversation where his co-panelist, Alexi's co-panelist, is casually reminiscing about his days playing alongside Messi or exchanging shirts with Ronaldo Nazario at the World Cup. What exactly is Lawless going to talk about? Coming on as a second half substitute for Ernie Stewart in a friendly against Scotland in 1998, helping the Kansas City Wizards finish last in the 1999 MLS Western Conference. Did Lawless
Damn.
enjoy an elite playing career? No. But does he do the background reading that could compensate for his relative lack of standing in a conversation with Titans like Henri and Zlatan? Also no. But is he but is he charming or funny or charismatic or otherwise magnetic on screen? Also no. And so it just sucks because like the outside world is, completely tying together US soccer with this fucking joke.
Mm.
And so it's just painful to watch. The other day, was it yesterday, I think, Lawless, yeah, no, it was for the US Australia game, and Lawless was on set at Lumen Arena in Seattle, and Rebecca Lowe makes a comment like, "Oh, like no Alexi in the studio today. He's at the game." And Zlatan literally just says, "You're welcome, America."
Yeah, that was incredible. So funny.
So
Uh,
there's these famous marriage counselors called Dr. John and Julie Gottman, and they have this thing called the Four Horsemen of Divorce, and it's like these, four super highly toxic things that go on when you're about to get divorced or like break up with your partner, and they are criticism, defensiveness, stonewalling, and contempt. And the absolute fucking contempt that Zlatan speaks with to Alexi Lawless is it's so fucking funny, and I yeah, it's one of the most interesting dynamics I've seen on television in a long time. It's really, really funny.
Yeah, and Rebecca Lowe is like she's the woman who hosts like Premier League in the USA basically,
she's a
and
great host. Like,
she's the best. Oh,
yeah.
She's very, very good.
I've
Mm.
told my girlfriend that she's like my celebrity crush. I absolutely love this woman. But the way that she's been able to steer the ship with this fucking, this clown car has been amazing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Masterful.
masterclass.
It's like
Absolute
I feel like
masterclass.
ESPN tries to do that on First Take, like manufacture like disagreements or like people not like each other, but they've
All
created
organic here,
yeah,
baby.
they've created a desk where people hate just one guy pretty much, and it's kind of awesome. Like it's a must watch whenever it's on.
And it's also interesting because like Alexi, he would probably like enjoy this, and I'm sure as the tournament continues to go on, he's going to keep recognizing that he is the villain. He's always the villain, but like now he's like front and center the villain
Yeah.
amongst these like amazing personalities.
Hmm.
So
Which
we'll see
would
if he starts to
which
play
would
into it.
ironically be the coolest thing he could do and would
Yeah.
be the one cool thing that he's ever done.
Hmm.
Be
Yeah.
you're the villain now. Be the
Yeah,
villain.
yeah. Read the room here, buddy.
Yeah. He won't do it because it'll be a cool move and
No,
it would
because
make
no,
people
because,
like him and yeah.
yeah, because that would be cool.
Yeah. He'll do more of that shit where he's like, "Oh, look, I made him laugh," and it's like, "Fuck off,
Yeah,
dude."
It's
yep,
like,
God.
dude,
yep,
you fucking suck, bro.
Yeah,
yeah.
you're so annoying.
You're not getting invited to
Yeah.
Sizzler.
Yeah.
Luke, I have a question for you.
Yeah, man.
So for somebody who's like doesn't watch soccer like on the regular, what have you thought about like the overall presentation of the World Cup and like the pre-games and the post-games and like general commentary? How do you feel about all of that so far?
I like it, man. I my favorite crew, like the announcers, and I do not know their name. It's like a British woman and a British guy. Do you know who I'm talking about?
It's probably Barton.
Probably I've heard him on there before. Like he's a
Yeah,
familiar voice. but they're
Hmm.
all like they were just like joking. Like she said
Oh,
something
is he the one who's like always talking shit about her,
kind of like they're I think
like jokingly?
they're in Toronto, and she was talking about like she was going around talking to people, and he's like, yeah, you do a lot of that or something like
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, and
That's yeah. So that's Warren Barton, former player, and then I
uh,
forget what the woman's name is, but yeah, they're a funny duo.
they're yeah, I like them a lot. The presentation's awesome. I think. I mean, obviously everyone hates the stupid ass hydration breaks, except Alexi Lawless. I think he was in favor of them.
Of
I think
course.
Fucking zagged on
his
that.
quote was like they're good for the players and good for our corporate sponsors or something like that, which is just like, all right,
Great.
dude.
Of fucking
Sick.
course.
Yeah. Well, what
You
about you?
suck.
What is your favorite commentary teams?
Darren
Uh, yeah.
Darren Fletcher, Owen Hargraves, they are fantastic. They were like, I can't remember what game it was the other day, but they were like actively talking shit on the players and being like, yeah, that was a terrible decision. And I was just like, all
Yeah,
right, this
Hmm.
is
something
refreshing.
super refreshing is like in NFL games, always they'll bring a ref on, like a rules analyst, and they will
Yeah,
always agree with them. And the rules analyst will be like, the ref made the right call there. And they'll be like, yeah, thanks for coming on. That they had that Clattenburg guy on. I think you were telling me, Ryan, that everyone kind of hates him already.
yeah.
And he's said something, and the guy was like, I can't see that at all. Like, I completely disagree with you. And like,
Thank God.
yeah, like that's
Because yeah,
awesome. That never happens like in football or basketball.
the
Hmm.
refs coming on and saying, "Oh yeah, it was a good decision here," is the dumbest, weirdest thing that I don't understand why we do. Why do we need some dude to come on here and tell us that what we're seeing with our eyes is not true?
Not true.
Like
Yeah.
it's so fucking strange. It's like so dystopian almost. Like
Hmm.
It's it's like 1% of the time they're ever going to disagree with the ref. Like they have like
yeah.
a brother. Like it's you're just never going to be like, oh, he was wrong.
It's
Like
like
I
a
don't even.
union of
Yeah, I don't
sorts.
even think you're
Yeah.
allowed to really. It's like so
Hmm.
useless that it
Hmm.
exists.
Another team I've liked a lot is also the Derek Ray Rob Green duo. I think it's honestly the best whenever you have a play-by-play guy who's just very good at play-by-play, and then your main color guy is a former player. I just think that that next level insight into like the nooks and crannies of like what's actually going on tactically and strategically. Like I liken it a lot to Mike Breen with Tim Legler. Like Tim Legler, in my opinion, is the best color guy that we have in the NBA now because he's able to break down very complicated patterns of play and being able to digest it and then spit it out in a way that you and I can comprehend. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And so I think like similar with Derek Ray and Rob Green. Rob Green used to be England's keeper, and so like getting his insight, like goalkeeper wise, I remember. Um, I forget what game it was. I forget if he was on the Curacao game yesterday, but Curacao keeper, like he takes a couple stutter steps before he makes a save down to his left, and Rob Green is talking about like the skill of being able to take three those three tiny steps before he dives because it gives him that much more leverage on his extension, you know. So just like getting those little like bits from former pro players, I think is always good.
I
But just because you're a good pro player doesn't mean you're going to be a good commentator
oh,
because, you know,
absolutely.
Ian Dark, Landon Donovan is the exact, you know, opposite. Like Landon Donovan,
Yeah, do
I think,
people don't like
uh,
him, do they?
I
He's
don't
just
think.
so milk toast. He's
He
just
yeah.
Hmm.
so boring.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I don't enjoy
like
his
you guys were
commentary.
saying in the opening game, it sounded like he already didn't want to be there. Like he sounds
Yep.
like not excited by the moment at all.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, like we need some enthusiasm.
Mhm.
There's
Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing worse than like having this sick ass like World Cup or like somebody scoring like a really amazing goal and the commentator being like,
They can't meet the moment. Yes.
yeah,
hmm
and that's a goal. Like,
Hmm.
dude,
Hmm.
fucking this is fun, man. This is a game.
So even going back to talking about the hydration breaks, so on Telemundo and on Peacock, they don't go to corporate sponsorships. They just continue to show highlights of the game and they're talking about it and whatnot. And so sometimes I'll flip over to Telemundo during the hydration break, but then forget to flip back
hmm
to the English version, like after the play resumes. And sometimes shortly after a goal is scored after when the hydration breaks on Telemundo. It doesn't matter who the commentator is, but you fucking know that that 10-second goal is coming, you know, and it's exciting.
yeah, it's awesome. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's yeah, like that's the shit. Like that's what you want. I feel like
Hmm.
from broadcasting, like what you were describing there, where they describe like little nuances that you might not know about. Like the goal should be like help someone understand the game, understand what they're watching. But also, I think just as important, you got to like bring energy or some like enthusiasm. Like the people I was talking about was Jackie Oatley and Warren Barton. I think that's what you guys are saying.
Yeah,
Like
yes, that's them.
they're
Yeah.
like making me laugh like when I'm on like they
Yeah.
know the game obviously, but they're just like little
Hmm.
quips here and there that I enjoy. And they meet the moment too. Yeah.
And yeah, going back to this Darren Fletcher, Owen Hargreaves partnership, once again, a guy with great charisma and energy in Darren Fletcher, and then an old English pro in Owen Hargreaves who can break down the X's and O's. Darren Fletcher, like, I think I pointed that duo out before the Mexico-South Korea game, as we had mentioned. That was a dud of a game, and they still were able to fill the space like well. Like they were talking about one thing I really appreciated about that duo is they've been talking about like the World Cup like at a grand scale, just like talking about like the how beautiful of a moment it is, like how the Mexicans were treating them as they were like walking around the town before the game, talking about like how beautiful the stadium is and everything like that. And it like really kind of helps put you there in the moment and make you feel what's going on, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Let's any more thoughts on the commentators? I feel like we kind of covered that well.
Yeah, I think in general the presentation and everything has been good. Like it's the usually the screen has like things that are eye-catching, you know. I think the way that they're like displaying the team list before the games
Mhm.
is cool. I like the massive flags before the
Oh
game that are
yeah,
brought
that is
out.
really
I
awesome.
think that's really
Yes,
cool. Yeah.
that is
Um,
dope.
yeah, and I mean just like kind of extrapolating out to the general, I think one thing that has happened that's been awesome is that like, you know, there was so much fucking noise before the tournament with like so many like awful things about the preparations for the tournament and all the awful things about, you know, people not being able to get visas and everything like that. But what we hoped would happen has kind of happened. The football has taken over and like the games have been awesome and the storylines and the narratives have been great. And luckily, I don't think that we've seen too much of a mess so far. You know, we mentioned things about like the complications of if Iran have to travel further in the tournament to the other places, but like aside from stuff like that, which is obviously major, and I'm not trying to like blow it off, but I think the Trump hasn't ruined the World Cup, Johnny Infantino hasn't ruined the World Cup.
Mhm.
And
Johnny
so
baby.
far so good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I think yeah. I don't has Trump even like said a word about the World Cup? Is he even aware that it's happening?
No, no, probably not.
That's yeah.
You
Probably
talk to the men's national team.
He's worried about the reflecting pool.
well he had okay. Oh yeah, what's going on with that real quick?
He's too busy arresting people for touching the reflecting pool and then calling them left-wing vandals.
Oh my God. He's so crazy. I'm glad he had his birthday party where the grown men got to fight in front of him. So
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
yeah.
There- There's something deeply homoerotic about that, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think so.
Okay. All
Yeah. I
right.
think we all agree with that, you know.
Totally. Let
Yeah.
listeners comment your opinion on that
Yeah.
topic.
And if you're pro Trump, we'd like to hear from you and what you like why. Maybe you could convince us to,
I would
100%.
rather not personally.
I'm just
I'm open-minded. Lay it
yeah.
on me.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Lay it
we
on me.
invite you, come on, we can have a discussion about his policies and his tenure. All right,
Oh,
let's
politics on the Luke show. That's just
yeah,
a
that's
recipe for disaster.
if I get the chance, this will become like a right wing show as fast. If they're paying me, I'll flip the switch so quick.
Stephen A.
Ru
Smith
Russia,
loading.
Yeah,
Russia is on the phone right
yeah,
now, dude.
yeah, that would be awesome. I get on here and talk
On
about
the next episode, Strait of Hormuz and most recent updates in Iranian negotiations.
oh, that'd be great. Fuck, they better keep that shit open. That's all I'll say. All right, moving on.
All
Still,
right.
France and Spain, still the front runners. What do you guys think?
I mean, it has
Um,
to be, right?
I mean, after I guess the lackluster performance Spain had against Cape Verde, there were questions, but they were super dominant in their second win, or their second game with a 4-0 win. Lamine Yamal, like you mentioned, started for the first time, didn't start in the first game, instant impact. Yeah, so I think that they'll be fine. And France looked great in the first game. So
Who's like an under the radar team, like maybe that we didn't mention in the pre World Cup pod that's kind of like emerged now as like a serious contender?
That's a great question. Some teams that I think just like kind of were like a surprise, maybe with how good they were. Colombia, I thought was very impressive. Ryan and I both shouted out Luis Diaz before the tournament started. He looked like an absolute spark. Um, Mexico has actually been better than I thought that they would. I think that they also have some like home World Cup magic happening with them, similar to what's going on with us. Um, Norway, very strong performance in their first game, putting four past Iraq. Um, those are some of the ones that stood out to me. Oh, and some of the teams from Africa have been awesome. We mentioned Ivory Coast. Ghana had a big win against Panama.
I
Yeah,
was gonna
Ryan.
say probably the my favorite team that I've watched is Ivory Coast so far in those kind
Yeah.
of like outside the obvious teams. Just a whole lot of talent on that team. Um,
I feel like
Diomande, I think, is a special player. And then I can't remember, but they had a few midfielders. Kessié, he's already established a bit.
The Alua cat.
Alua, yeah, Alua, a
Hmm.
very young player. Um,
Hmm.
Ivory Coast has some very dynamic and talented players, and I think if they go whoever they go up in the knockout stages are going to have a really tough time handling their athleticism and their like dynamic abilities going forward.
yeah, I think yeah, I feel like the biggest winner of this so far has been just the continent of Africa because like the performance that's Congo's draw and
Morocco,
yeah, Morocco too, their draw against Brazil. Like
Cape Verde.
yeah, Cape Verde, like they've just has there been a bad performance? I guess maybe Senegal's 3-1 against France,
but
but
it's
South
that's
France.
yeah, that's
Africa.
not bad.
South Africa, first game against Mexico.
South
Yeah.
Africa's kind of been the big stinker.
But I
Hmm.
don't think there was really high expectations for them.
No,
Um, I think Germany's been pretty awesome. That Germany Ivory Coast game was a great game.
that was a great
I
game.
feel like
I think that was the first game of the tournament where a team had come back from behind to actually win.
oh, was it really? That's kind of
Hmm.
interesting.
Yeah.
I forget where this team was in Tim's tiers. I think they're probably in the second tier. Oh, did we ever get a title for that?
No,
The
no
Sinister
comment.
Six, I think, is what I
No, we
commented.
got Tim Coin before we got fucking the
Uh,
names of the tiers.
Tim Coin was so hot for a little bit and it's leveled off, but we still trust in
Well,
Uh,
Tim Coin.
it's fallen off.
But
falling
now's the
off.
time to invest in Tim Coin if you're watching.
See, what you don't know is that all this is just a pump and dump by Tim.
This whole pod, really.
This whole pod, right?
Yeah,
This
you
is
got
Tim,
you won't hear from me, you won't see from me after
Yeah.
this is all over.
He's like the Hawk
Tim's a
Tuah
crypto
girl.
guy,
Yeah.
big crypto guy.
Hell yeah. I
Um,
totally forgot what
on
I was gonna say. Oh, this team, Argentina. I feel like we're kind of talking about how they can't it's no one's ever has anyone ever repeated in the World Cup?
Not for over 60 years.
Okay, yeah. And I think that's probably the biggest reason why they weren't talked about as like one of the top favorites. But I feel like their performance was so great and how great Messi was. Like I think
Their
they got to
odds have
yeah, that's what I was getting at. They probably got to be like the third or
Algeria is a
fourth.
pretty good team too, so
Yeah.
that's not a pushover team.
And
their
maybe
odds have gone up for me, man. I think I underestimated uh now it's only been one match and like watch them go out in the next game and kind of shit the bed. But I feel like I may have underestimated that idea of what Tim was talking about earlier with the monkey off the back and the playing free and really just kind of having one goal
yeah.
and not feeling burdened by like the pressure behind getting to that goal.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is like something that we didn't think about. Just like, yeah, they've accomplished what they need to, and now they can kind of like Rory McIlroy with the Masters is a good
Hmm.
example.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
that was the whole thing of his career. He could never win it, and then he won it, and then back-to-back champ.
And
Like,
we
maybe
fucking did it again.
yeah, yes, sir. So did Wyndham Clark, who everyone in the world hates. Today won the US Open.
Whack.
Yeah. People were actively rooting against like he would hit the shot and they were yelling, get in the water. Like I've never seen anything like it.
I
Quick synopsis. What's the deal with this guy? I don't know.
He won the US Open like 3 years ago. He's just kind of like an asshole. Like last year he missed the cut at a US Open and like freaked out and like broke like two old lockers that were like over 100 years old. And he's
Okay,
just a
so he's
dick. Like
a
I'm pretty sure he's
dickhead.
like a big
Yeah.
Trump guy too.
His
And
girlfriend is weird and annoying on Instagram and like is an influencer and shit. Like it's just like
Mhm.
very like think about like the douchiest guy you know, and it's kind of him,
And it's
Okay.
but
him
he's a pro
in a
golfer.
golfer form.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And everyone was like he was playing with Scotty Scheffler who it was like his birthday and everybody loves him. So everyone was
Mhm.
rooting for Scotty Scheffler and they were just kind of like
Just shitting on this
it
guy. Yeah.
wasn't because golf had never happens. They were legit like cheering for him to fuck up. Like he would miss the
I
green and they would go crazy.
Wow.
It was
I
honestly
can't
strange.
lie. I don't support actively rooting against someone, but just dead silence I feel like is enough.
Yeah, that would have been
In
better.
like dead silence really just kind of
Mm.
like
Yeah.
puts it out there.
He almost blew a 6 shot lead today, but he ended up winning, so it's kind of disappointing, but it was still crazy to see. All right, we got two and a
Got
half
it.
minutes left. Is there anything that we missed? Kits. I saw Uruguay's kits, I thought today were incredible. I thought those are like the
The
best
light
kits.
blue kits, yeah,
Yeah,
those
with
are
the
really nice.
anything with the
South Korea
collar.
South Korea purple kits. Also
Yes.
just Ar
Those,
Mhm.
Argentina always sick
yeah.
kits.
Argentina kits. Once again, most of the African kits have been sick. The
Yeah.
Morocco red ones are maybe my favorite ones I've seen
Mm.
so far. The
Shout
Cote
out the
d'Ivoire orange ones.
Shout out the Germany travel suits that they like
Oh
walk out
yeah,
of the
did a
bus
lot of the
Mhm.
in.
travel
They're like
suits have
old
been
school
so nice.
Adidas and shit.
Hmm
Damn, that's cool as hell. I love
Also,
Norway.
Norway too.
Norway
Yep.
Yeah.
also
hmm
swag. I will say the red the red and white wavy flag
The
kits we
USA
have
kits, yes.
they've grown on me
Have they
now.
grown on you? You were a
Mhm.
certified hater when they
I've
first came out. Have they grown on you?
I was a certified hater and they've now grown on me. I'm now starting to see the vision. So
I think you made a good point though. The only drawback to them is that they have that white space for the
I hate
number. I
that's
don't
the
think they
one
need
part I
that.
You
hate.
that's the thing. You have to have a
The
number and a name on the back, or else the
so
big white blank looks bad.
so
Yeah.
it's like why do that then?
hmm
I feel like
They
there's
are
a more I feel like there's more aesthetically pleasing way we could do that.
yeah, something. Someone will figure it out. That's the
Yeah.
thing. You can either go like the classic that always looks good, like Brazil,
hmm
Argentina. I think France's away kits are sick too.
France, yeah, France's
Yeah.
kits are nice as well.
Yeah,
hmm
but anything else? Any other thoughts that we didn't get to?
There's just one other single player I wanted to shout out on the topic of the African players. Ayoub Bouadi for
Okay.
Morocco. I think he's 19 years old.
Come to Arsenal.
He's
Come to
their long-haired
Arsenal.
number six. He put on an absolute masterclass against Brazil in their first game. Didn't play quite as well against Scotland, but he's just a guy who constantly wants the ball and constantly wants to dish and give it off and keep things moving. He's a player to watch out. He's been linked to good teams like Arsenal, like Ryan said.
What was his name
Pull out
again?
the
Ayub Buwadi,
Ayub Bouadi.
Bouadddi.
Okay, we'll keep an eye out for him. All right. Any have you guys? Who was your original prediction to win it all?
France.
Franzia.
Still sticking with France?
Allez le bleu.
Allez,
Allez, le bleu.
allez, la bleu. All right. Au revoir.